Whatever club is in this surprise shirt box will today be the club that we try and win the Champions League with. However, it won't be that easy because we won't necessarily be the manager and we've got to deal with the wheel again. Now, the wheel already has very positive and negative results, but when we find out whatever club is in that box, we'll be adding some more relative challenges to the wheel to make it interesting. Now, as always, with the surprise shirt box, we've got the FM edition, meaning whatever club is in here, I can do a save with them on the standard edition of Football Manager, and you can use my discount using the link at the top of the description to get your FM edition box from Surprise Shirts as well. Literally, the code is just OL. You can't miss it. It's as easy as that, and I'll tell you more about it in a sec, but let's find out what club we have. Oh, it's a beauty already. I can see it. I've seen the badge. It's one of my favorite French teams. It's Saint Etienne. As always, with these surprise shirts as well, I got myself a nice little bag of Haribo in the box. So, priorities. Now, Saint Etienne are kind of one of the most historic clubs in France, thanks to a very good reign that they had in the early 80s. But I think they're really more iconic because they always have beautiful shirts, and Hummel have done it again, guys and girls, because this one for the upcoming season is an absolute beauty. And of course, this season, Saint Etienne are playing back in the top league. Now, everyone knows I hate Rennes, but there's not really a French club that I love. This might change my opinion on that. This shirt is wonderful. Now, the new season is about to kick off in a couple of weeks' time, the 24-25 season, and this is a 24-25 season shirt. And you maybe are thinking, oh, I really want to get into a Football Manager save, and I don't know where to begin. Why not go to surpriseshirts.co.uk, and you can head on over to the FM edition and pick yourself up an FM edition shirt, and you can get one for the upcoming season, just like I have here with Saint Etienne. If you use the code OL, you also get 10% off at the checkout, and there's even a section there that if you have clubs that you despise, just like myself, you can put in there, I don't want a Spurs shirt, I don't like Omega, maybe I don't like Rennes, just like Omega Luke. You can stick that in there, and Surprise Shirts will honor your wishes. And maybe there's a league that you fancy, you just don't know what team. You can put all of your requests in there, and Surprise Shirts can get to work and get you the shirt that you want to kick on your fantasy of having an unbelievable Football Manager save for the new season. Use the code OL at checkout for that extra 10% off at surpriseshirts.co.uk. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Alright, so I've added some positive and negative results to the wheel that kind of relate to Saint Etienne in ways. Let's see what our first spin is going to be for season number 1. Now remember, we've got 10 years to ultimately try and win the Champions League. And I'm not gonna lie, a Tycoon takeover in season number 1 is probably the best result that we could have got. Because as we mentioned, Saint Etienne are going up a division into League on this season after playoff promotion through Ligue 2. So, with the Tycoon takeover, we can actually give them some financial push in this. They don't have a rich benefactor at their squad. In fact, they actually have quite a lot of debts. Now, with a Tycoon takeover at the front end, they should be rich enough to be able to stay in the division next season, we hope. Now, as we know, just adding a rich benefactor into the game doesn't change how crap the AI are at buying players, which is why we're going to need some generous spins on the wheel to help us along the way, but at least we now have money that if they do want to sign players, they can. However, even though they have been given £19 million in their transfer budget, he hasn't spent any of it. No, I don't know whether it's the director of football or the manager who buys players when you're not controlling the side. I mean, they're very recognizable players, aren't they? Soriano's in there, Brandon Williams, Ogbonna, Ryan Fredericks, and Keylor Navas. So there is like a slight improvement in the players that are being brought in, but it doesn't bode well because they've actually played 4 games and only got 1 point out of them, including not actually scoring a goal yet, and the transfer window's now closed. He's playing a 4-2-3-1. We've just got to really hope things pick up, and maybe they can survive in the first season. Well, that ain't good. just 4 wins all season. Bottom of the table, Saint Etienne are relegated down into League 2. And I'm not really too surprised. I mean, they got good finances, they got a rich benefactor in the foreground, which will obviously help going forward as well. But the transfers this season, that's a letdown. And that's where the AI is terrible. But we can't change any of that unless we get our own takeover, of course. But they only made 1 sign-in for money, and that is not going to get you anywhere with a player like that. Lucien Ngom is also a good loan sign-in, but not a permanent sign-in either. I feel like we kind of need to up the reputation if we want a good season, and that is an option on the wheel. So let's pray that we get that one next. Now, like every spin we do, once we get one, it is then removed from the wheel to go forward. But there is some fantastic ones on here, and there is some great ones either, which is obviously going to make it a probability being higher that we're going to get one of the bad ones eventually. We could do with a few of the good ones to begin with. Oh, we almost got maximum reputation. However, what we did get is spin the wheel of players. And that's fantastic considering we're down in the 2nd division. Okay, so this takes us to a second wheel full of players that are kind of related to Saint Etienne and kind of not. We got former players on there, such as academy guys like Wesley Fofana, for instance, Kurt Zuma, Alan Saint-Maximin, Jonathan Bamba. There's also players who have played for the club or played in the league. Maybe they have some affiliation to the league. Neymar and Messi, 2 of the best players in there. Lamine Yamal, because he's just one of the upcoming prospects in world football. Lenny Yoro is one of France's best talents, just left the club. There's loads of different players on here. Saliba even had a loan spell there. There's loads of options. Let's hope we get a good one, because this is a fantastic wheel pick to get in season number 2, going down a season into the 2nd division. And Desiree Doué, who is kind of one of France's up-and-coming stars at the minute, that's not a bad pick because he's only like 18 with a fantastic potential. Not to mention, he's also at Rennes. I dislike them, so it's nice to take a player off them. As you can see, he's got potential ability on this game of 164. It's not amazing, it's not one of his highest, but he is going to be a very valuable asset to Saint Etienne, and I think that's the most important thing. Whether they end up selling him or whether they manage to keep hold of him, he is going to be a first-team player, which I think is going to be the biggest advantage of this. He's going to be a starting figure, and hopefully the guy that can drag Saint Etienne back up to the top division and keep him there. So with Desiree Doué in the side, we are starting to see a bit of the effect from the Tycoon takeover as well. Leonardo Jardim as manager is a really bloody good manager. He was manager of Monaco for a couple of seasons, even won the league with them as well, I believe, and Sporting as well. He is a very seasoned manager who I respect definitely as a manager. So the fact that he's gone to Saint Etienne, I think is a big step. Now, transfer-wise, I feel like obviously they've been given £24 million. The rich benefactor in the foreground has given them some money. They're not going to blow all of that straight away. They haven't got the reputation to do that, which is why I wanted a higher reputation. Didn't get it, that's fine. But they are spending £5 million nearly on a player going down a division, which is great. They've also brought in this guy who... yeah, let's skip that one. But there's so many transfers coming in, and some really good ones. Odsonne Edouard from Crystal Palace on a free transfer is a fantastic sign-in for a 2nd division club in France. From the Premier League, Eduardo Quaresma, a really good young centre-back for this level, is absolutely fantastic. We're starting to see this now. This is great. There's some phenomenal signings. I'm excited for this season. I hope that they can pull themselves back out. Not to mention, the signings they did make, they didn't exactly lose them all. Just Brandon Williams going for £2.9 million. That's nothing. And they've started the season okay as well. They've played quite a lot of games already. There's a few wins here. There's 4 wins out of 5 in the first 5 games. But they did pick up a couple of draws, unfortunately. But I'm still confident that they can kind of finish in the top 2. If not, maybe get themselves promoted in that playoff spot again. We did not get automatic promotion. 3 points off of the champions Paris FC, but they finished in the playoff spot. Edouard got 14 goals. However, from what I can see, the playoffs have actually ended and we were eliminated by Troyes in the semi-final there. So that's not fantastic. I don't think it leads to anything else, despite it still saying playoff there with Grenoble. I don't think it does. So, unfortunately, by the looks of it, we might be spending another season in Ligue 2. But we get another spin of the wheel. Hopefully we can capitalize on that. Now, in the January window, let's have a look at this sorted by time. So we've got a few more signings coming in there, but nothing amazing. Conrad de la Fuente from Marseille is a good loan signing. What about on the outs? Did anybody leave the club? It doesn't look like anybody that I would suggest was like a first-team player, for instance. But yeah, it's disappointing. I was hoping we'd have great bounce back ability because now we've got to get promoted in the 3rd season, and still we've only got 7 seasons then to even attempt to win the Champions League. So it's a good job we've got another spin of the wheel every season. Yes, so let's hope we don't land on anything negative at the start of this in season number 3. We want something that's just as positive of what we had previously, and it's going to be a very good one indeed. Reputation plus 2,000. It was almost an Omega Luke season takeover, but no, instead we're just adding 2,000 points to reputation, and that can be make or break. Now, quite simply, Saint Etienne's reputations actually took a bit of a beating lately. It's gone down to 3 stars, but if you go onto club details, you can see down here the reputation's currently sat at 6,344. Maximum is 10,000. So if we're changing this and adding 2,000 onto it to make it 8,344, by reputation, that then goes up to a 4.5-star club. And that means better players will want to join Saint Etienne, and that's just what we need this early on. And to be honest, the reputation can't be damaged too much if we're getting promoted and in the French top division. So we just got to hope for nothing disastrous in the next season. Oh, guys, this is proving a lot harder than what I thought it would be for us to get promoted. We're in 3rd place, and again, if you look at the playoff scenario that we have, we lost in that semi-final, so we don't get promoted. I don't quite understand why there's like a weird playoff thing and why Guingamp then didn't get promoted. I guess they... No, I have no idea. No idea what actually happens. But anyway, we don't get promoted. I'd rather just finish in the top 2 and then we don't have to worry about it. But again, we're 3 points off or 2 points off from Lorient. We would have had to... Oh, to be fair, goal difference, we would have been put up. But look who our manager is. Allegri. And that's because of the reputation. And that is why I wanted to have a really good reputation early. And we managed to get it. Now, the signings that they have brought in haven't been miraculous, and I don't think it's going to change the game. There was a few really good ones, but nothing that you look at and go, holy, like, we're getting promoted easily. We're still relying on the players that they brought in from when they were in the top division, and Desiree Doué, who we've got off the wheel, but he's still here, and that's a good thing, and he's progressing quite nicely too. So we've got to be happy with that. He's up to 146. He's enjoying the game time. Doesn't seem unhappy that he's playing just in the 2nd division. And right now, our reputation, it seems to be okay. It's only gone down to 8,291. We're still above 8,000. We're still 4.5 stars. We just got to hope the wheel is just giving us something good again, because we really need the advantage early on before we start hitting the stinkers and we really begin to struggle. Now, I don't quite know what would be the best option for us to get from this list. There's obviously a Kylian Mbappe loan 1 season and a Omega Luke season takeover, which would be great, but I feel like Allegri should be good enough. So as long as he doesn't leave, we might be all right. Add 2 French national players would be fantastic. Perfect facilities and stadium would be even better. Get a 150 maximum capacity stadium as well as some amazing facilities, but it's going to be really good because we're going to turn an academy player into a 200 maximum potential player. All right, so I've got a list of all of the players from the Saint Etienne Youth Academy here, and judging by current ability, because I think, like, if they got a really good current ability, then they're more likely to play. We've already got one with a potential ability of 180, but he's a centre-back. Don't really want to mess around with him. Let's pick a striker, and there's 2 options here. One of them has also played centre-back or left-back, and if you look at him, like, it's very unclear what position he's going to be good at, whereas this guy, Antoine Clerc, he's just a striker or right winger, and okay, finishing isn't great, neither is the composure. The off the ball's only 10, but he is only 16. So let's change him and make his maximum potential of 200. He already has good professionalism. So let's just pray and hope that Antoine Clerc can become one of the world's best players and stays at Saint Etienne. So he's now on my shortlist so we can keep track of him. So it's season number 4. Let's see what Massimiliano Allegri and the boys can do with roughly about £16 million in the transfer budget, because reputation is already starting to come down. Now, thankfully, that is a better season. 2nd place place with Saint Etienne, just by a point, by the way. But we don't have Allegri as manager anymore. No, instead we've got Pelissier, who, yeah, he's been managing around the French leagues for a while. I thought I recognized the name. He's actually the Bordeaux manager who got promoted last season. He, in real life, would be at Auxerre. So, he's got us promoted. That's fantastic. I can see Renato Sanchez as our key player, which is a phenomenal signing, by the way. Desiree Doué still there? I mean, tactically, what we look at, he is still there. Good. Look at this side. This is a good team. This is a very good team. And I fancy our chances going into the top division and surviving next year with this team. There's still some really good players in there. This season, by the way, was when they signed Renato Sanchez on a free transfer. Alvaro Rodriguez was the top scorer of the season as well. He's there. I think we actually spent the most money ever in one transfer window in the January, which is the new guy that came in because Allegri was sacked in the December. I've seen it pop up. Yeah. 11th of December, he was sacked after a year and 50 days, and Pelissier came in right after that. So he had the whole transfer window to kick on, and he did that. So let's see then the past positions where, oh yeah, you can see why he was sacked. They were 8th. Wow. They were 8th when he was sacked, because then when he took over on the 17th, this is where we were, and it was a huge climb up. So fantastic, phenomenal stuff. We're going into the top division, and we get to spin the wheel again. I honestly really enjoy doing these like wheel videos. I think it just adds a little bit of randomness and a little bit more excitement to the game at this point of the game cycle. And if you are enjoying it as well, then please smash that subscribe button for more just like this. If you aren't subscribed, then you might miss the next one. That's all I will say. So let's spin the wheel. We're on to season number 5. Back in the top division now. We need something big. Oh, it was almost 2 French national players, but a budget of £100 million with a guy who might be willing to spend that could be great. Although we do have the Tycoon takeover already. So financially, there was a transfer budget of £28 million. Now, although there has been a rich benefactor in the foreground, the balance hasn't necessarily gone up. So we'll add the 100 million to that as well. So that's now 148, as well as 128 million pound in the transfer budget. Exciting stuff. Let's see if he buys anybody. I mean, it wasn't 100 million pound, but it was still 41, and yeah, you got to be happy with that, because there's some good signings here. Marquinhos from Arsenal was a standout that I seen there. 16 million pound, 9 million pound for Mvuka, who plays the same position. So maybe we're playing 2 right midfielders, and Balerdi is another signing for 11 million pound there that's made. The rest are just some good loan deals and some free transfers. Nothing too crazy, but so far it's been okay. 3 wins out of 5. I think we might just survive this season. I really, really hope so. Oh, yes. Now, this is what we wanted to see. 5th place in the first season back in the top flight. Obviously, far behind PSG, but not as far as I thought it'd be. Just the 24 points. But this Saint Etienne side has got European football already. The Europa League, but it still counts. We're going for that Champions League as the main goal after 10 seasons, but Pelissier has got them en route. And the team that he is kind of building here, £88 million spent, a lot of signings coming in January. This is great. Oh, we've even signed a star striker for £22 million, and he's young as well, so he's got lots of time ahead of him. This is exactly what I'd hope to see. Some good youngsters coming in, some good players around them, and tactically, some guy who knows what he's doing. A 4-2-3-1, using Doué to the best that we possibly can. We've got Pizarro in behind him, 26-year-old Chilean centre midfielder, alongside Guido Rodriguez. Of course, a lot of experience now at 35. Hopefully, we've got somebody lined up to replace him. I think defensively, we need some work. But going forward, we look like a scary side. Now, how do they do in the French Cups? They got to the 10th round, knocked out by Lyon. That's a tough break. But I'm just really pleased with this. A 5th place finish. That's amazing. And now we spin the wheel again. Now, we've yet to get one of the negative ones, like no budget or release best players, that kind of stuff. So we're probably due one, but we could do with another amazing advantage going in. Oh, I knew it would be. Unless... Oh, now that... Oh, the wheel really teased us then, because I thought we were about to release our best player. No, Instead, we get arguably the best one possible right now. Perfect facilities and big stadium. That's unbelievable. Now, if you're looking at their stadium already, 42,000 seater capacity is already quite good, to be fair. And the facilities that they got, 4.5 star, 4.5, well, 4 star for youth facilities, 3 for youth recruitment. We're not having to do too much to it, but it's still just a nice little boost, right? So we got the facilities, the capacity of 42,000. Let's now change that to 150. The seating capacity exactly the same, 150. And what I'm going to do is just the used capacity of 150 as well. That kind of means that at the start you get 150,000 people in there, which is what we want it to be, I guess. So from that, then we go down to training facilities. We've already got decent training facilities, but we're bumping it up to maximum, as well as the youth facilities, the junior coaching, the youth recruitment, and something you can't actually see from my skin, but it's the corporate facilities. A lot of people ask what skin I've got. The link is in the description. So let's give them the perfect facilities, the perfect stadium, 150,000 seater capacity. Let's let them cook, because this is going to be phenomenal stuff for us now, going into European football with all of this young talent being able to play in the best facilities possible in front of 150,000 people. Oh, wow. What a transfer window. So David Zima's joined on a permanent deal, a really good centre-back option, definitely what we needed. But then the signing, £16 million, doesn't look like much has been spent, but the players coming in are fantastic. So Pizarro actually joins on a permanent, so does Luis Enrique, which is 2 first-team players from last season. Mark Roca also comes in, really good midfield option, a lot of experience. But look at the loans that we're bringing in. Arda Güler's coming to the side. I hope this doesn't mean that Desiree Doué doesn't have as much game time, but Milos Kerkez also comes in, really good left back. There's some fantastic loan signings. Lorenzo Luca being another one, good right back coming in there. Our defense has definitely got a lot better, and we're not even selling that many players at all. In fact, a lot of the outs are just loans going out. Like, this side is getting very good, and I'm excited to see what happens going into season number 6. Now, our very rich benefactors, our tycoons, if you will, made the weird decision to sack Pelissier, who, let's face it, has done an unbelievable job at Saint Etienne. And some would say, oh, that is awful. Like, that's going to be the end now of this challenge. And then you see who they got to replace him. None other than Xabi Alonso. Straight off the back of Bayer Leverkusen. Like, left the club to come to Saint Etienne. We're cooking. We are cooking. It's another 5th place finish. Desiree Doué is now El Capitan, which I'm buzzing with, by the way. This has potential to be a great little rebuild here. It doesn't look like he's added too many players in the window. I mean, £21 million was spent. How much was in the January? So from the January, actually just one player, £4.8 million in Slivkovic, who is actually quite good. He hasn't really played, but he's actually quite good. So, I mean, it's a 5th place finish, 59 points, just missing out on Champions League football by goal difference, if anything. But 59 points is an improvement. What about in the Cups? Unfortunately, in the Coupe de France, it was a 10th round exit on penalties to Lens, so that's disappointing. And in the Europa League, it was a quarter-final exit to Manchester United, who actually went on to win the whole competition. So you've got to be happy with that, considering where we were a couple of seasons ago. I mean, Saint Etienne finished 8th place there in the league phase, just losing to Tottenham, drawing to St. Gallen, and winning 6 games there. So straight into the round of 16 they went, and they knocked out Young Boys in that round of 16 before facing Manchester United, arguably the hardest one out of the quarter-final teams there. So it's a shame, but it's a promising start to our European journey, I guess, and what could be the turning point in this. We just need to avoid getting releasing the best player from the wheel. Let's head to the wheel. Now, there's still some on here that you would think, oh, if you get that, like, this is unreal. But there are a couple of ones which is going to be tough, and that's the worst one. Releasing the best player. And I really hope by current ability, it isn't Desiree Doué. Okay, so by current ability, all the Saint Etienne players, Arda Güler is top, of course. He's only unknown. Danilo, though, 29 years of age, a midfielder that was bought, actually, on a free transfer last season, is technically the best player alongside Jonah Kusu Asare, so it's going to be Danilo. And that actually is not too bad. I mean, we're terminating his contract. That is a shame. He's the best midfielder that we've got, but it could have been a lot worse. And we'll keep a note of our star striker, and what I would say is our best prospect in terms of midfield options there, our attacking midfielder, Desiree Doué. But, I mean, we haven't spoke about yet, the elephant in the room, Antoine Clerc. It's been a couple of seasons since we upped his potential ability. He hasn't had any game time yet. Just a couple of appearances off the bench, 8 in total. But he is getting there. He's growing ever so slightly. His current ability is now up to 129. Give it a couple of seasons, we might see him in the first team. Oh, that wheel spin was perfectly timed. Guys, Xabi Alonso, or whoever's doing the sign-ins, Arda Güler has joined on a permanent deal. He's now a Saint Etienne player. He is now our best player, which means we avoided releasing him. £55 million. Emile Holm has come in at right back, 26 million. Lorenzo Luca is now a permanent signing. We have got some unbelievable players. They spent £114 million and some even better players that's coming through on free transfers. Bidstrup's come in. That's your replacement for Danilo right there. Van der Bremt, that's another good right back. What is happening? Alfie Dorrington's coming on loan for some reason. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I'm so happy with this. And Doué and Arda Güler up front. Wow. Now that is a sight to see. Saint Etienne fans gotta be happy, and so far the schedule has been looking delicious. We've even beaten PSG and Rennes. Yes. How do you beat both of those teams 2-0, by the way, then lose 2-0 to Brest? You made a tit of yourself there, Xabi Alonso. I couldn't resist it. I'm really sorry. Let's just get this season over and done with. Yes, this is the season I wanted to see. We're in third place on the same points, the same record, and the same goal difference as Monaco, which is meant, I'm guessing, yeah, it's gone on head-to-head because we lost against them twice, but that's crazy, really. Still, second place. We're in Champions League football next season as well. We've got to be happy with that. One of our players even got the third highest top scorer in Kusu Asare, who is one of the better wonder kids on the game to pick up in terms of a striker. So, Saint Etienne, are we still rocking with Xabi Alonso? We are indeed. We've still got Desiree Doué as our El Capitan. He's looking great. And Arda Güler, still our best player. Obvious to see why. So tactically, let's look at it then. We've got the likes of Brahim Diaz in there now, who looks like he's been a loan signing during January. I still think our defense needs some work. Like, why are we playing a loan sign? Oh, he's joining permanently, though. That's pretty good. That's good. But on the left-hand side, not so good. It's kind of like a player with just like very wild attributes. I've never even heard of the guy. I guess we just need to pick up more players. Pick up more players and build this side. It's looking decent. It's looking very decent. How do we get on in the cups? All right, it was the 10th round and we're eliminated from the Coupe de France from Troyes, who are in our league, but that's a bad loss. However, what a win, and our first trophy in the 120th minute of the Europa League extra time final. We beat Newcastle. We beat Newcastle. For Europa League winners, let's go. It's not the European trophy we won, but it's a step in the right direction, correct? We finished in third place, didn't lose any games. We drew 2, won 6. Good stuff. We've beat Benfica in that round of 16, knocking out Villarreal. We already had a tough tie there on penalties. We then beat Feyenoord 4-3. That's another tricky one. And in the semi-final, knocking out Tottenham. Xabi Alonso. Oh, this is really good. Now, their budget for next season, let's see. So, we got £75 million in the budget for next season. That's a good amount. Let's spin the wheel. Now, there's more and more in here that have negative effects. The no budget, financial trouble, release any non-French players being signed. Spin the wheel of players, by the way. If anybody's wondering why I never got rid of that, we're keeping that for the whole time. It's kind of just like add a player. Kylian Mbappe is like a loan signing, so that's okay, but adding 2 French national teams is going to be great. Okay, let's see. Season number 8. What's the wheel going to give us? It's going to be one of the hard ones, and it's no transfer budget this season. It could have been a lot worse. But we're wiping the transfer budget. That's £75 million is gone. Now, that's not to say that they can't sign players. It's not that at all, because they could eventually sell players, or the rich benefactor, because we have that as a benefit, could actually give them more money when they realize there's nothing in the budget. So that's just an upside to one of the wheel spins that we had in previous seasons. But £75 million gone from the summer. Let's see what does happen in that transfer window. Okay, so they did manage to spend a little bit of money through players being released and Ramanzani's £20 million move to Juventus. £32 million was spent in the end. 21 of it was on Coppola. Good centre-back. A good option, I think, as well for them. And Alfie Dorrington was obviously the permanent deal, which was already happening. So 10 million of that, you can't really count. So really, it's just the £21 million that was spent, which was the £21 million which was made. Okay, Coop Miners was another guy that came in, 33 years of age now, at the end of his career. So it's a good signing, I think. Yeah, I'm hotly anticipating maybe another, fourth place and up finish would be great. They've already lost to PSG, but it was in the UEFA Super Cup. So PSG have actually been winning the Champions League. That's not what we want to hear. We want it to be Saint Etienne. Could it be this season? Because for the first time, they're in it. Well, it's a good season in terms of the league. We haven't finished any higher than where we were previously, and we didn't even finish in second place. But we still have Champions League football next season, just in case we haven't won it this year, which I very much doubt we have. 61 points, same as Lille, which is the same team underneath, the team underneath us. Kusu Asare, though, top scorer of the league. However, it's very scary when the average rating is dominated by PSG. A lot of players that you will recognize, including the likes of like Gavi, like how does he get here? Nico Williams. And then they have this guy, like that. It doesn't feel fair. He is a phenomenal player. 179. He's fully maxed out in his ability at 22. They bought him for 41 million from Boavista. So that's what we got to contend with. Unfortunately, they only lost 2 games all season, and it wasn't to us. However, Xabi Alonso still in charge. Love to see that. Transfer-wise, we had one signing in January transfer window. Looks like one for the future, so it's not really anything special. What do they do in the cups? It seems like we just cannot get past like the 10th or 11th round. Like, I don't think we've even got to like the quarters of the semis yet. And PSG knocked us out on penalties. So it's even more frustrating because you knock out PSG and you're like, all right, now we're favourites. We have to be, especially because Nice, the team who finished above us, were also eliminated. So to go out on penalties, it's a tough one to take. And in the Champions League, unfortunately, we go out to AC Milan after winning in the first leg 2-1. We lost in the second leg 2-0 to the Italian side when we went to Milan. So it's a tough one in the knockout playoff round as well, which means in the league phase, we just scraped through. Like, whoa, that's close. Because we're even on the same -3 points, but I'm guessing it's gone on goals scored. To Besiktas. We lost to the likes of Real Madrid and Milan in that 2-0, as well as Napoli and Galatasaray. Drew to Partizan and 1-3. One of them was against Inter. We just kept a really good clean sheet. So we kind of need a better season. But of course, we've got to spin the wheel again. And of course, as we know, there is a few things on this wheel we definitely don't want to be hitting. But there is a couple on here that might tip us over the line going into Season 9. Now, early on, that would be amazing, but adding a 5-star wonder kid now probably isn't going to do us justice, so I think we're just going to try and have to find a best case scenario with this one. Now, what I mean by this is I would consider wonder kid anything 19 and younger, so a teenager, really. I think that's kind of, I mean, some people might say up to 21 is classed as a wonder kid, but just for argument's sake, I'm going to say 19 and younger. So, if we go by this, let's have a look. As a 5-star wonder kid, you want it to roughly be from around about 175 onwards in terms of potential ability. So, let's try and find one with a high current ability. And straight away, if you go by the highest current ability for players that are aged 19 or younger, well, there's a 19-year-old Maximiliano Barragan, who has a potential ability of 176. So, it's kind of right on the threshold. Also, we need to check on the previous wonder kid, see if he's getting any game time or even been sold. Now, he doesn't look amazing, what I will say, but he is pacey, lacks composure and positioning. He's a centre-back, but he definitely isn't a perfect centre-back. But he is a wonder kid. Let's move him to our club, or Saint Etienne. Xabi Alonso's club and see what happens in the next couple of years. Can he be an influence at all? I guess we'll have to find out. But of course, remember, we had this player, Antoine Clerc, who we turned up to a 200 potential ability player as a striker, and I don't think he has really developed at all, and that could be a problem for us. That might have been a bit of a waste, although he did play 13 games last season, only 2 starts, so it's nothing impressive. I mean, look at this. I mean, when were we even 4 seasons ago? He's only gone up to 140 current ability with that 200 maximum. And he had everything there, the good professionalism, sportsman, everything that you would need to progress other than the game time. And I think it always tells a true tale. Game time equals development. Not the case here. Now, what's exciting about this transfer window with Saint Etienne is I think Xabi Alonso is doing the right thing here. Now, Barragán, we've just moved, we mentioned, needs game time. He's played 5 so far, and good average rating, so it's a cracking start. If he does that for 2 seasons, we might see a bit of a player on our hands by the end of it. However, only sold £8.5 million and brought in 43. It's not, you know, they've still got, actually, only got £6 million left. So, to be fair, with the rich benefactor, like, nothing's really happened there, is it? You know, they spent the money, all that they needed, and brought in a cracking player, 29 years age, like, great leadership and physicals, fantastic centre-back. Alex Vale also comes in on a free transfer, good left-back. Fagioli, cracking midfielder for a free transfer. He's doing the right thing. This is exactly what you... Oh, my God. Look at the players. The players are happening. This is a good team now. This is a very good team. So, tactically, he's still going with this. We still got the likes of Desiree Doué in there, as well as Arda Güler, who seems to be our key man, our powerhouse in there. Team's looking great, and so far, so good. We've got second in the league, although we have dropped 4 points already. 2 was to Nice. Yeah, Champions League. Got 2 seasons left to try and win it. Right, so 9th season, we're in 4th place, which still means Champions League football. Just, by the way, too. Goal difference is the difference there. El Yawahi's our, like, new top scorer, but I didn't know we signed him, so that must be a new signing in the January. We still have Xabi Alonso as the manager, so that's fantastic news. I kind of like just keeping him there, to be honest, unless we had the takeover. But yeah, El Yawahi joined on loan. Oh. Okay. There's a couple of signings that came in. I don't know why they signed that guy Palacio. Like, he's all right, good physicals and a little bit of good mentals, but that's weird everywhere else. Saint Etienne, though, are in the Champions League. However, did they win the Champions League? And, of course, the Coupe de France. Oh, can't believe they have not won the Coupe de France. And by the way, fair play to Toulouse because they're in the 2nd division. And they went on to win it. Oh, we got to the semi-final. Toulouse have won it from the 2nd division, which, from an AI perspective, you very rarely see that. Now, where did PSG get knocked out of? Must be in this leg. 9th? They were knocked out early. But Amiens, they're in the National League. Wow. Big loss to them. That's huge. But yeah, we went through, like, nice and comfortable till we got to that point. And they were knocking out big teams all the way. Lille, who, of course, we know are in 4th. Wow, fair play to Toulouse. That's incredible. Really good stuff from Toulouse. But in the Champions League, it is a round of 16 exit to Manchester City. Who would have thought? Bayern Munich actually went on to win the final. They won on penalties. Did we play in the knockout? We did. We knocked out Real Sociedad. So that means the league phase, we didn't finish. We did okay, though. 13th place. We lost 2 games against both North London clubs. We drew against Dortmund and Lazio. And we won... Oh, hold on. I'm looking at Barcelona's. Okay, we'll start again. Oh, we lost to Barcelona and Manchester City again. How many times do you play somebody in the league phase and then draw them anyway? I don't think I'm going to enjoy the new Champions League league phase thing. The new format. I don't mind it on Football Manager, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy it in real life. 2 draws to Feyenoord and Dortmund, and 4 wins in total where we scored 4 goals in all of the games. There's 1 season left. We got a wheel to spin. So for the final time then, what are we going to get from the wheel this time round? Could it be... It was almost a Mega Luke season takeover, but for the final season, it's Kylian Mbappe loaned for 1 season. Not bad. Now, we are getting him on the twilight of his career. He's 34 now, but he's still good, and he still will be a starting player for us. And considering we've had to loan a striker recently, then I need to learn how to spell Etienne, then we clearly need a striker. So we're going to loan him to Saint Etienne. He can't be recalled. That's the main thing. And we're going to do it until, let's do it to the 2nd, so that when we come back on the 1st, we can see him still at the club and see what he does. So, can be played in cup matches, can be played against own team. Let's just, let's go for all of it. Don't think we have to worry about anything else. Loan cannot be terminated. You have to stay at the club, please, Kylian, for 1 whole season. He's in a Saint Etienne shirt. So it's very cool to see. Kylian Mbappe is the key player for Saint Etienne at age 34. Xabi Alonso still doing bits. I don't think we've shown his profile for a while. That looks insane. No. What a manager, by the way. So, yeah, what else has he been doing? I don't think I looked at the budget. That was probably the problem there. Oh my god, they made a permanent move for El Yawahi. See, this is the problem with AI, is now El Yawahi, who would be a phenomenal player, probably won't play because Xabi Alonso isn't going to shoehorn him in the team or change the tactic. And I think, good goalkeeper as well that he brought in. I think that's the trouble. We need to have... Oh, actually, they brought somebody else as well. Who's this guy? Good centre mid. Very good centre mid. Hold the phone. How much? 160. Yes. Come on. Yeah, they don't change formations very often. I know they're supposed to, but they don't change it very often, do they? So, okay. Let's see then. Saint Etienne, what have they been playing? Yeah, so Mbappe's been up front, but El Yawahi's probably just been sat on the bench. Doué's going to be sat on the bench too now too. So that could be a problem. And obviously they had Kousa Asare, who I feel sorry for the man, really. He was actually really good, wasn't he? But he isn't going to play that much. Now, to be fair, El Yawahi's getting 2 goals off the bench. It might be quite good that he is sort of Kylian Mbappe's understudy, because he's probably going to get some game time with Mbappe being 34. We'll see, I guess. But they've started the season well, the first in the league. And that is because actually they dropped points again. But they did beat PSG. Good sign. And it was 2 late goals from El Yawahi in the first 2 games. So don't write him off just yet. But Kylian Mbappe scoring against PSG is rather funny, even though it was only from the penalty spot. Well, in the 10th and final season, we still don't have a French championship, well, league championship anyway. PSG have won the league again. They only lost 2 times. One of them was against us, and we were still 13 points behind them. So, yeah, unfortunately, just it ain't gonna be. Kylian Mbappe did, however, finish the 2nd highest top scorer behind PSG's unbelievable new gen that they got from Portugal. But what about those cups? Well, in the Coupe de France semi-final, we eliminated PSG, which means we now play Monaco in the final, which is still to be played. In the Champions League, we finished in 16th place. We lost 1 game against Manchester City. We drew 4 against Juve, Monaco being again, Arsenal and Porto, winning 3 games in total. A nice little 3-2 there against Benfica. We go on through there to the knockout playoff round, where we defeated Tottenham 2-0 on aggregate. Nice couple of 1-0 wins there. That's amazing. Into the round of 16, where we eliminated Bayern Munich 4-3 on aggregate. It's heating up now, because in the quarter-final, we then knocked out PSG on penalties 2-2. We rescued what was a deficit of 1-0 from the first leg to knock them out. And we went through to the semi-final, where we have just beaten Barcelona. I say we, it's down to Xabi Alonso. He's beaten Barcelona 3-2. And now he has to face his old club, Liverpool, in the final of the Champions League in this 10th season. It's literally gone down to the wire. And the first step is a good one. A 2-0 win against Monaco in the Coupe de France final. Even though they kind of got dominated in the game, really. They had a lot of possession, but shots-wise, Monaco was all over us. And the Saint Etienne goalkeeper got himself player of the match. So that's amazing. And that is the first time we have won a domestic trophy. Remember, we won something in Europe. It wasn't the one that we wanted, but we've managed to do it. Fair play to Toulouse again for that last season, which was unbelievable. But now it's time for the Champions League. The whole video was trying to see if they can win the Champions League, and it's come down to the very last game. So we're on the day of the final. I thought I'd just check to see if there's any players that's going to be missing. By the looks of it, we've still got Kylian Mbappe. He's got 22 goals this season as the team's top scorer. Arda Güler is also available. There's only a couple of players that are missing from injury. One of them is our starting left back. Now, we do have Alex Valle who can fill in. He's not bad a replacement either, is he? So we in terms of strength, we should be all right. We've got a couple of injuries, a couple of players who aren't registered in the Champions League, but this Liverpool side that they're about to play, they're a little bit good, aren't they? So they're players. I mean, they've got some fantastic players. Even if you go by their positions right now, you can see they've got the likes of Noah Darvic and Duranville, who are two of the best players in the world. They've developed unbelievably well in this. Lewis Alsop, who I've noticed has done very well for Liverpool in a couple of seasons. He's a really highly rated centre-back that's a new gen, and as well as a right-back who seems really good. Even their bench has a couple of phenomenal players on there. Their main striker is this man Hansen. But what can Xabi Alonso do? Can Xabi Alonso stop this Liverpool side still managed by Arne Slot 10 seasons later? Let's find out. Okay, there we go. The game has been played. Has Saint Etienne won the Champions League? No! Oh, it's a 1-0 loss in Cardiff in the 86th minute. That is such a shame. That is such a shame. We can't even watch the game either. But, he's done so well, though, Xabi Alonso. Fair play. This little experiment with the wheel, thanks to Surprise Shirts, has been very fun. And I've got a lovely shirt out of it nonetheless. So, remember, if you also would want to get yourself a shirt from this upcoming season, the 24-25 season, head to Surprise Shirts right now. Tell them I sent you by using my link and using my discount code OL at checkout, and that gets you an extra 10% off. Use the FM edition box. You can get a shirt just like I did today and start a new Football Manager save. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed and check out this video here, because I did the Youth to Gold challenge with Ajax. Oh yeah, Youth to Gold. It's a banger.